Hi guys, welcome back, Scatlink here, and we're off for more Final Fantasy the Anniversary Edition. In the last episode, we checked out the final Fiend of the four Fiends, Timet, the Fiend of Wind, and we restored the final crystal to Grace. Not only that, but we had some extra time, and we did a lot of stocking up with all of our money, but I forgot to sell my items again that I don't need, so I'll be doing that at the beginning of this video. And even though I said at the very end of the last video we're going to go to what we saw 2 episodes ago, in the Flying Fortress, where all the 4 crystals' energy was converging into the centre of the map, which would be... Come on, map. Well, if I just click this, it should... Where is it? Yeah, here we are, Chaos Shrine. If I click that, the centre of the map. There we go. It takes forever just to navigate. There's no, like, fast method on going through this menu here. But yeah, and as I've said before, we're not going to be doing the Earth Gift Shrine, the Hellfire Chasm, the Lifespring Grotto, or the Whisperwind Cove until we are done with the main game. These will be bonus episodes, as these are the Dawn of Souls dungeons that weren't included with the original game. We want to get the original game out of the way first, then we'll go back and do the Dawn of Souls stuff, and then we've got actually something else that we have to do, but we'll get to that in a bit. So first of all, I want to come back in here one final time, for now anyway. And I want to sell my stuff that I do not want. So, the Vorpal Sword. We do not need that. Where is it? It was the Diamond Armor. We don't need that, because that's useless to us. Don't need the Diamond Shield. We've got 2 of those, so get rid of them. They are... They are... one-time only items, but we've got stuff that outclasses them in every possible way for our knight at the moment, so don't need them. Leather cap, don't need that. That's like way too early on. 2 mithril cap helms, don't need them because of the ribbons we replaced them with. The 2 protect rings, well, we don't need those because we can buy them anyway, so that's not really that big of an issue. They're better than the diamond gloves, so we'll get rid of those as well. And we've got rid of all the guff, so it's easier for me to navigate through my weapons. That's one of the main reasons why I actually wanted to do that. And yes, we just got tons of money, but you can't chuck items away. This was the only way for me to get them out of my inventory. And, well, suffice to say, money doesn't really mean anything anymore in this game. We got all this money! We've got all... It's like, we spent all this money on, like, the magic spells to max out everybody. We got all the best equipment that we could possibly get, and including Excalibur, but we don't really need all this money. This money's just a waste. Now, before I head to the Chaos Shrine, there's also one more thing I forgot to mention. Do you remember when we were at, oh, I've just enlarged the map here. Remember when we were at Crescent Lake, where Lucan and his followers were? Well, if you remember what they said before, once you've restored all 4 crystals, we must go back. And to be fair, if we go to the Chaos Shrine now, we don't need to come back here. Where is the town? I just bypassed it like an idiot. We don't need to come back this way, but it will fill in the blanks. And like I said, we had a bit of foreshadowing with seeing the 4 energies of the crystals be focused onto the Chaos Shrine. And yes, it's in the center of the world, but there's nothing to do there. So, why do we need to go there? Well, let's talk to the people. Lucan actually doesn't have anything new to say, but these guys do. 12 sages we are, guided to this land by the stars and prophecy. The 4 forces gather in the Chaos Shrine, the geographic center of the 4 altars. With the forces again flowing freely, the time to go to the Chaos Shrine and strike the foot of darkness has come. What this guy is saying is that, well, in the original game, it wasn't known as the Chaos Shrine, it was known as the Temple of Fiends. I don't know why there was a name change, but it doesn't really matter because of another thing that's kind of like at the very end of the game. But the thing is that, yes, as it was the Temple of Fiends, the Fiends originally originated from there in the first place, and as they are all elemental, and they dealt with the crystals, and they went for the crystals, and obviously they're siphoning the energy for something. So, yeah. The 4 crystals shine once again. The combined power of that light is the only means of breaking through the wall of time. The architect of this disaster is beyond that wall, 2,000 years in the past. What? You would have no memory of this, but before you wandered into this land, time flowed properly for you. But that flow of time has become warped for you here, in this time. So, you're saying that the very end of this game that was kind of average fantasy kind of stuff on epic proportions now throws time into the mix. That's right, even the first Final Fantasy game has time travel. And apparently, the Warriors of Light were prophesied to appear somehow, and apparently we've been brought in because of this paradox that happened 2,000 years ago. And if you remember what these guys have told us before, 400 years ago, the water crystal and the wind crystal were taken. Then, 200 years ago, it was the fire crystal, and then, recently, before we turned up, it was the final earth crystal. We've now restored them all in that reversed order. We've taken out the one that recently fell, and we've restored the ones later on that fell later in time. The chain of time has become looped back upon itself. You must travel back in time to the link in that chain that give birth to this cycle of wrath and destroy it. The sequence of disasters that began 400 years ago. It was triggered by events that happened only a scant few days in our past. But whoever sent this in motion is now fled 2,000 years into the past. I see time spiraling. Whatever went back 2,000 years in the past has brought the world to the brink of destruction. And now, 2,000 years later, it travels into the past again. A cycle of wrath without end. An ever-repeating 2,000-year cycle. The warped destiny that gives birth and rebirth to wrath. It's no more than an illusion. A fantasy! Only a Warriors of Light can break the cycle. Bring the light of the 4 crystals to us. Warriors of Light, only you can do this. And the rest is the same. So yes, we were brought to this world to stop this paradox from happening. Apparently, right before we turned up, was the event of when the paradox starts to loop on itself. But the crystals themselves allow us to actually break through time and space. Okay, so when do all 4 elements, fire, earth, wind and water, allow us to break through time and space? That don't add up to me. But it's a fantasy, so whatever, am I right? But hey, this entire event is apparently a fantasy. Apparently the world was fine until a couple of days before we showed up, because a couple of days ago before we showed up, the loop began in this linear timeline and bounced back on itself into an endless spiral, and that's what's caused all this issue. And that's probably why the crystals were drained. But we had our own crystals, so to re-energize these. So it kind of brings up a lot of fan theories. It's like you can add a few things up, fill in the gaps, and it's like, it is plausible, but at the same time, it's like, if we stop this, wouldn't all of our stuff be for naught in the first place? Would this be a completely different future, or present in this case? Excuse me, lady. Thank you. But yeah, these guys are pretty much telling us that we need to use the energy of the 4 crystals at the Chaos Shrine to break through time and stop any of this from ever happening in the first place. Manipulating time for a better future, as it were. In this case, the future refused to change. That's a Square Enix reference to another game that they made way later on in the Super Nintendo lifespan. But right now we're technically in Nintendo Entertainment System / MSX. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else I want to do on the map screen. I don't think there's anywhere else I want to go. Like I said, the Dawn of Souls dungeon we'll be doing later, which means I will have to backtrack my way out of the Chaos Shrine. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But yeah, but you remember that black-coated dude that we met in Cornelia a couple of times? Well, he is now actually here. Where are you off to, buddy? Oh yeah, and you know what annoys me? He's able to walk all the way to this side of the wall without a random encounter. Unless that's what the fade out was. Oh, hello. There's a door there. That is anniversary only. The Dawn of Souls dungeons are only available in the Game Boy Advance version, the PSP version, the iOS versions, and in Japan only, the 3DS version. The eShop download, you know, not the NES one. But this thing that we just saw is only available in the PSP, iOS, and in Japan only, the 3DS version. The anniversary editions only have this bonus dungeon. The Game Boy Advance version does not. It's so funny considering that the PlayStation 1 version has the FMVs, but the GBA couldn't handle that. So, you know, like I said, this is more like PSP version with GBA add-ons. Okay, so these enemies are going to be annoying, mainly because that they're literally weak as hell. Only one hit for anything. They only give 6 experience. So, I'm just running from every battle. So, the door's not here. What happens if we check this wall? I don't know if we can actually do this beforehand. I've never tried. I always do it at this point, so if you guys want to confirm and just boot up the game quickly on your PSP, iOS device, or 3DS, and just check the wall quickly at the beginning of the game, and let me know, that'd be cool. A miasma seeps forth from the wall. Touch the wall? Yeah, why not? So yeah, this is a 5th additional dungeon that's only available in the anniversary editions. A door appeared. Apparently we needed a fanfare. Hello? Labyrinth of Time. That's a very unnatural camera shift. Herein lies the Labyrinth of Time, the dominion of he who roams myriad eons, the Master of Time. Transcending time and space, the Master now occupies this shrine. Ye who have entered this place undoubtedly possess powers worthy of the honour. However, all you have come to know about how the world works will be called into question here. Devices and puzzles designed to test your mettle around within the halls of the labyrinth. The miasma drains the power of those out of time, and monsters soon swarm about the weak. Sacrifice an ability to the light of time beforehand, and buy time to keep the miasma at bay. Only by solving the mysteries of each floor can you progress through the labyrinth. Near each device and puzzle there is a tablet. Consult the tablet to activate the floor. Those who overcome challenges with time left to break the blue seal, revealing the path of the proven. Those who proceed after time has run out break the red seal, to a place befitting their powers. It goes without saying that there is no turning back. Bear this in mind as you go forth. And we can actually do this now. Thing is, I don't think we want to go in there right now, because I think the enemies are definitely the toughest that they would ever be. This is intended for you to be done. Yeah, this is intended to be done after the Dawn of Souls dungeons, and maybe even possibly when you beat the actual game. Maybe on a New Game Plus version as well. And you have to do this dungeon. I had to look this up. You had to do this dungeon about 8 times. Let me boot up the bestiary. I think the last 8 slots of the bestiary are all the same boss that we must fight at the very end of this labyrinth. However, the amount of blue seals and red seals that we activate to get to the next floor determines what version of the boss we fight. So that means you have to get all blues, all reds, and a little bit of blues, and tons more reds, and tons of blues, and a little bit of reds. There's like 8 different set combinations, and that means sometimes if you want to fight the red version of the boss, which is like the toughest version of the boss, that means not only do you have to run out of time on every floor, which wastes your time a lot, which also makes you lose a lot of health because you lose health over time apparently. You got to go against the hardest boss in the game completely. And I've never done this dungeon, I've never got all the way through it. I think I did one floor and I got scared because I haven't done all the Dawn of Souls dungeons yet. Like I said, I've never done Whisperwind Cove. And I've never beaten the entirety of Live Spring Grotto. I've only beaten like 2 of the 4 bosses there, so yeah. So, we're not going to do that for now. That is definitely bonus content. I don't know when I'll get to that, to be fair. And how the hell have I already taken 15 minutes? Then again, there's been a lot of preparation and whatnot. Even though we did that in the last episode, I forgot a few things. Now, we have just bumped into 5 bats. You remember what happened in Lufina, or whatever it's called? They said that they sent 5 warriors of virtue to see what's going on. And apparently, as for what we see in the Flying Fortress, they must have known that as well. Everything was converging here. And they must have fallen before we turned up. And these are the 5. They were here before when we fought Garland. But we couldn't talk to them, they just said key. But now, we can talk to them. The power of the 4 fiends were absorbing the crystals that was being fed into the past by the black crystal. The one distorting the beautiful light of the crystals is the one we've been looking for all along. The true root of all evil lies just ahead. The curse of the fiends changed us into this form and prevented us from speaking. The light of the crystals has enabled us to speak again. We are the Sky People. We came to this shrine in our attempt to locate the source of the world's ruin. That was 400 years ago. Just like what the Sky people said at the town. As soon as things were going wrong, they came to check. And the first things that went wrong on the top half of the map happened 400 years ago. The power of the 4 fiends were absorbed from the crystals, was being fed into the past by black crystal. Oh no, wait, we've already talked to you. Dang. The light. The light of the 4 we've been seeking this entire time. The light will open the time portal. The portal will transport you to 2,000 years into the past, to the beginning of the time loop. Shine the light of the 4 crystals on the black crystal in the centre of the chamber. Doing so will open a time portal to this shrine as it existed 2,000 years ago. And, with all this information from the sages and from these fallen would-be heroes, we will become the true heroes of this fantasy, and go back in time to prevent this from ever happening. You focus the light of the 4 shining crystals. Fire, earth, water and wind. We are Captain Planet on the black crystal. The flow of time surges and space begins to warp. Just one step forward and you'll be travel back 2,000 years in time. Gotta get back in time. That's it. Not even, well, it says that it's a portal, but it doesn't look like one. But once we step forward. Welcome to the final dungeon of the game. The Chaos Shrine. There are 3 floors and 5 basements, but the 3 floors are more like just a big loop around, filled with random encounters. And because it's the Temple of Fiends 2,000 years back, and they haven't left because because 2 of them are not going to leave for the crystals, you know, for the areas up here, until about I don't know, 1,600 years from now. All the 4 fiends are alive and well and at their full strength here. So that means we're going to have to fight them again if we want to get through here. Plus the random encounters are absolutely annoying here and they're also pretty tough. Make sure you know what you're doing and you're stocked up. But with all your money, I think you would be freaking decked out on literally everything you can buy. Well, I didn't max everything out, just to give myself a little bit of a challenge, but I am pretty confident. Now, starting off right now, you can't reach the top half of this first floor. That's for the loop around to go to the basement. We have to go to the top first, and there are only 2 ways to go. Bottom left and bottom right. I want to go to the bottom left, even though it's a waste of time for me, because I need to show stuff off. And I actually got through that without bombing into a random encounter. What the hell? Okay, so we're in a little bit of a box here. If we go in here, this is this big massive room. And yeah, there's nothing in here. Except for random encounters. Hello, Earth Medusas. And they're already gazing on our presence. Yeah, well guess what? It don't work on Zest. He can't be stoned with the Aegis shield. So, ha! Really? 3 of you? I like how you keep doing it on Zest. That's actually cool, because that means I'm not going to get affected too much. And we all know that Earth is apparently grass in this game, so let's just chuck the major stuff. And because they're grass and not Earth, we can use Thunder as well. With the gauntlets. Now, I'm going to be abusing my items like crazy, so I'm sorry if you don't like me going through my items even more vigorously than I usually do. But I need to reserve my magic as much as possible. This is a big dungeon with effectively 4 bosses and then the final boss. Even though I've got items to spare, I'll be using those as well to heal up and whatnot. That's why I bought them all, and that's why you have tons of money. Even though I feel like the game gives you a bit too much. It's funny, at the beginning of the game you actually want money, but you know, struggling, and you may have to like spend a couple battles to grind. That's it. But yeah, in this floor we can't do anything. It's a dead end, so that's pointless. If I just go north here, after we deal with 3 white dragons, yep, we've got the ice dragon again, effectively. That's what this is, but you know what? It's fine. We have the major staff. They can go screw themselves. And I'll keep hitting them with everything I have. Let's see. I think I'll hit them with Thor's hammer. And what else do we have? It would be nice if I had another major staff, to be fair. Blizzara with the black robe isn't going to work very well, so I guess I'll just go Gauntlets for more Thunderer. So everyone actually hits except for Zest, who will do a physical attack. Then again, he has low intellect as well, so Sorba will be better for this one here. Plus, it'll be super effective. Well, super effective. One of them didn't take even 100 damage, but look at that Excalibur sprite, man. I didn't point that out last battle, did I? That is majestic. It's pretty much the same that we saw on the map screen when we were obtaining it. And we got a level up. Zest gained 9 HP, 15 MP. Sober gained 5 HP and 15 MP. Flow gained 6 HP, 18 MP. And Daewoo gained 25 HP and 12 MP. Best level up so far. I'm loving it. Tons of magic for Zest and Sober. Flow is decent enough. Daewoo, HP boost that you definitely need. I like it. Right, so yeah, like I said, if we go north, we can't leave the building, by the way. I guess the people of the world sealed the temple up so that they couldn't escape, but I guess it just eroded over time. And if you notice when we're in the corner as well, rooms have collapsed and been risen from the ground over the years. That's why this floor looks completely different 2,000 years back. But yeah, we can't leave and we can't go to the north. It's the exact same on the opposite side of this floor. So don't waste your time because you'll just be getting into tons of random encounters. I am going to be trying to fight every enemy unless I get a little bit annoyed because I do need the experience. I feel like I need it anyway because enemies here are tough. Speaking of which, we now got 4 of these bloody things to deal with. I think this will be the last time I'll leave these in because otherwise we'll be going to be in battles all day. But I would like to at least get to where I want to be before I end the video off. I'm not going to be able to get to the first Fiend, I don't think. But that will be a thing. So, I mean, I might do if I get lucky and able to actually dash Aruni. There's not many chests to pick up on the way as well. And most of them are pretty straightforward to get, even though you'll have to go through tons of random encounters just to get them. Why did I use the black one? I'm talking, I'm not paying attention. It's fine. It will still do damage. It's not like they'll heal from it. Right. So, kill you. 807! That's almost hitting the cap, and we're not even level 50 yet. We're like 10 level... No, we just had a level up. 9 levels away from that. I mean, in the original, like, in all versions before the Anniversary Editions, as well as the Dawn of Souls version on Game Boy Advance, basically, everything before Game Boy Advance, I think the max level was 50. But in this version, I believe it's higher than that, because I was, like, level... in fact, I can check right now. I think I was, like, level 57 on one of these files. 58! Look at that! So... that just shows you how far I came. Yeah, so this is like surrounding a room that we can't really do much about, so we'll just go to the next floor. And yes, we need to get to the center of this floor. All these rooms are empty, so don't bother going into them. We has green dragons, that's fun. We're basically bumping into all the major mini-bosses on sequenced squares of previous dungeons, but in this case they're just random encounters, and they appear in multiple quantities as well. So, that'll make you scared. Thanks for the poison gas, mate. I'm not gonna lie, these guys absolutely destroy Daewoo, because as they can attack everyone with poison gas, and it does decent damage across the board, they can also do tons of damage just by normal attacking. So, yeah, make sure you keep Daewoo's HP, well, your Black Mage's HP, pretty high up, and maybe even your Monk/Master, because they don't have the best defenses. I'm not liking how my health is right now. So what I'm going to do... so I'm going to Healing Helm on this. Healing Helm here. I'm just going to have Zest one-shot. Keep my HP up as much as possible. With 2 Healing Helms and a Healing Staff. Unless you knock out Daewoo. Thanks, buddy. Well, at least this will heal everyone else and it will be split a little bit more evenly. Well, a little bit higher, I guess. It's not been split by 3, it's been, well, 4, it's been split by 3. Alright, so I don't want to hit that guy again. I'm going to be on the defensive here and do this. In fact, you can have a high potion for yourself. First time I'm using items again. And let's break out the big guns, let's use full life. Daewoo, come back to me. It's actually worth for Daewoo, because he hasn't got a lot of health in the first place. God, that ate up so much magic though. It's worth it though, especially when normal life or just Phoenix Downs do the same thing. That's why I don't bother getting life, because I'd rather just buy a bunch of Phoenix Downs. It's a lot cheaper and you can have multiple quantities of them. My phone's going off. That's great. Messages everywhere. Alright, so I remedied that. Daewoo did fall, but I finished the battle with all 4, so that's fine. Look at that! 15 grand! 15,000! We don't need that money! And it's a shame that the game gives you so much money now, because we don't need to spend it on anything. And I believe the cap is 6 nines. I can check with another one of my files here. Yeah, the cap is 6 nines. It's the same file I had to check beforehand. Oh boy. Alright, we need a heal here, so let's get out some high potions here. You can have one, Flo, Sora can have one, and Zest can have two. Yeah, those guys do a lot of damage. Wait, how much magic did Full Life cost? 40. Okay, so Holy's the most expensive spell. That does make sense, actually. Even though Full Life is a lot more worth. Right, so I want to go into the middle of... Oh, no, I can't go straight in the middle. I have to go around to the bottom middle first. Oh, new enemies, Dark Wizard and Dark Fighters. I know that we're taking quite a while getting through these battles, but these battles are designed to make this dungeon humongously long. I mean, it is the final dungeon, like I said, so I shouldn't really be surprised. But I don't know how many episodes it's going to take for us to get through this at our current level. I mean, obviously, once we're higher level, it'll be easier to get through, but I won't need to do that until after the project's finished, when I want to save my file at a certain point. And I'll have to do it after the series is finished for a bonus episode covering the bonuses. Because, you know, I'll have to save a clear save file, and when you boot that file up, which, by the way, if you do want to save a clear file, I better mention right now, when you beat the game, it will ask you to save clear save data. You want to save that on a different spot, because once you try to load it back up, it'll basically be a New Game Plus, where the only thing that gets carried over is your bestiary. And the reason why you want to do that is because that, in your original save file, you won't be able to have the final boss added to the bestiary. It's literally the only thing that you'll need to carry over otherwise. Unless you don't want to go through all the dungeons again, and you just want to try and get it 100%. That's another reason, I guess. But yes, oh, that's the empty room. This is the way I want to go. Yeah, here we go. Now... Oh, come on, I was about to speak. I think this was a sequenced encounter, actually. Yeah, Death Eye. Well, you know what? You're dead. Get out of my face. I have Excalibur. I don't even care. 512. Sora does one hit above, but Zest's got so much power because of that. And he gives you 1 experience, 1 gil. What's the point? Oh, boy. Oh, let me open the chest, please. There's no encounter space there. That was just there to annoy me. I'm trying to talk here. The game won't let me. Right, you know what? Thor's hammer, and let's give you the black robe. Black robe for Black Knights, $15.99 a piece. I don't know what I'm saying. Can you please stop hitting me? Please? Right, that's your... Oh, that did not one-shot any of them. Alright then, let's do that. So yeah, Zest is like the tankiest and most hard hitters to the party now. Sora's alright, but he's got spells to use as well. He's got better intellect than Zest. Literally, Zest can only attack 1 enemy at a time, so... Yeah, if there's a tough enemy, just have your knight one-shot that thing and let everyone else deal with the rest. Of course, everyone still has their roles, but you know what I mean. We've got a dry ether there. And an elixir, which is super nice. I haven't even used my first one yet, and I don't plan to be using it anytime soon. I would rather use those in the Dawn of Soul dungeons. Now, I'm just going to say right now, remember at the very beginning of the game, as in halfway through episode 2, after we took out Garland, we talked to Princess Sarah, and Princess Sarah gave us the lute, a sonorous instrument of great beauty. Throughout the entire game so far, we haven't had to use it, and even then, the game doesn't tell us at all. Even the bloody prophets and the followers of Lucon, the sages, even they don't say anything about the lute. The game doesn't tell you anything about needing the lute. Except for possibly here, because here is where you're required to have it. If you never ever spoke to Sarah after rescuing her for whatever reason, and remember the game doesn't even give you an inkling to go back and talk to her, up to this point in the game, you can't progress. You'll have to back up. And I don't think the exit spell works, and I don't want to try it now because I won't have to go back all the way through here. Obviously, I'll have to try it when I want to go back out of here for the Dawn of Souls dungeons. But like I said, the loot is required here, as you'll see here. You just check this, and instead of reading it, the title screen of the game. And it reveals a step ladder down. What floor are we on? Floor 3. This will... Yep, floor 2. And look at those. That staircase up there, that's the one we just took to get to the room above. This is basically just a massive roadblock. Why not just remove the first 3 floors, and in order to get to the north half of the Chaos Shrine, just let us use the loot to remove 1 block, and then we could move on. No, of course not. In fact, hell, why not have the loot to get rid of the black crystal? There were so many good, better design choices to streamline this a little. This is just to elongate the dungeon and make you go through random encounters for no reason, because we've got to make our way back to the beginning now. And basically, this is pretty much a mirror of the previous floor, where we have to basically go back to the top left corner. We came from that corner, now we got to go back there on this floor. It's crazy. And all 4 rooms are empty again, just saying that right now, just in case if anyone's wondering. But yes, we've got dragon zombies here, so that means the light axes here are going to be coming super handy. In fact, I'm going to use some magic here. I don't think we've used Diaga yet. I definitely know we've used Diaga through the light axes, and we used Diaga before we had Diaga, but I don't think we've ever used Diaga. We haven't really had a good use for that. And we've also got Daija as well as Holy. We will be using Holy at some point. I will be maining with Daija if they're undead enemies, because, you know, I don't need to spend the extra 15 magic to do what I can normally do with undead enemies. So if they're undead, I'll use Daija. If they're any other enemies and they're giving me trouble, I'll use Holy. But because I'm using light axe of everyone else, I'm going to use Dagger just because I don't think we've seen it yet, and it applies to this situation. So this will be the one time we'll do that. I've got magic here. I've got ethers anyway, so it's fine. So where's this? I knew there was one item I missed. I mean, they only give you 1 gil, but it doesn't need to be in my inventory anyway. It only gives 1 defense, so it's like, should have just got rid of it. For some reason, I forgot that it was in my inventory. Damn. Oh well, I guess we're going to be finishing the game with old-fashioned cloves. Right, can we get out of here? Actually, I was going to cut this out. Everyone else is just attacking. I am going to use Daija here, and I'll probably have to use a couple of ethers after this. So let's use Daija. And you can just, because they're undead enemies, you can just slap on a Major Stuff Good Manager. So we had about 230 HP damage with Diaga, 100 with Daija via the Light Axe with Sorba, so maybe 50 for the original Die spell. But in this case, it bumped it up by 40 more HP damage. I don't think that was worth it. I think Diaga is better than Daija in this case. Wasn't that big of a boost in terms of power. Maybe that was the whole point. I don't know. But see, look. All this is locked off from below. Purple worms. Interesting how we bump you into you here and not below. Maybe this half of the room has different encounters? I mean, it is possible. You can do that in RPG Maker. I wonder if anyone has actually remade this game in the RPG Maker engine. I know it's possible because, I mean, the style is completely the same. Hey, we got another level up. HP increased by 33 and MP increased by 3. Zest, you do not need much more health at the moment. I mean, might need it. I might regret saying that, but, you know. Sorba gained 5 HP, 15 MP. There's more MP. That's what I want. Flo gained 30 HP and 8 MP, and Daewoo gained 29 HP and 24 MP. Wow, that's like one of the best level ups Daewoo's ever had. Intelligence and luck. Nice. Alright, so. Well, alright. Chaos Shrine Basement 1. That was the dead end. We need to we're in the bottom left corner. We need to get to the bottom right corner. We need to go literally around the entire building. That's going to be fun. Alright, bring it on. Give me the random encounters. There's nothing in this corner. There's nothing on this floor. Okay, they were just a bunch of Medusas, even though it did take a while. Going down here is a dead end. Don't take it. There's nothing down there. I'm not going to go out of my way to show dead ends all the time, because I'm going to get into random encounters I don't want. Like one of these. So I'm just going to run. Yeah, if it's enemies like that, like Medusas, I'm not going to bother fighting them, because they take forever to kill normally without using any items and stuff, and even then, they just eat up my time. Yes, you've got another big room here. It's pretty much symmetrical to the last room. There's nothing in there. Going left will take you to those stairs. That's in a little boxed room. Once again, a dead end. There's nothing down there. Alright, a little word of caution. If we step on any of those spaces surrounding the stairway to continue onwards, they are all encounter spaces. They are all forced encounters. And it's the first Fiend. As in the Fiend of Earth, Lich. We'll have to fight Lich every time we want to pass through. No matter how many times you defeat him, this is the Temple of Fiends. This is where they live. This is where they're created. No matter if we beat them back, they'll come back. So, yeah. That's going to be annoying. So if you want to backtrack, and you think you missed anything, which at this point the only 2 chests that we've had so far were the 2 before we played the loot. So you haven't missed anything. Believe me on that. We'll have to fight them every time. And that goes for all 4 Fiends. And I will be pointing out what spaces they are. They are the 3 spaces that... Well, they're all the spaces that surround this stairway. Except for the one that goes from the wall. With that, I think we're going to end this episode off by fighting Lich. Once again. Alright, so I feel like this guy's going to drop like a stone. I'm not too sure if he's a different encounter or if he's the same one we've fought before. He may have different stats, but like I said, I'm not entirely too sure. So, I mean, he is dead, so we can light axe him. So we'll do that. Well, he has flair. He's different. That's not good. Maybe we should give him a taste of that. I didn't heal before I entered this battle. Wow, if Zest is doing only 200, this is bad. That did a lot, though. I did a stupid. Oh, boy, I did a stupid. I didn't heal. There's a boss ahead of me. Maybe I should have checked my health before I went in. You know, I really hate my stupidity sometimes. The end of the video, and I've almost ruined the entire video. Watch me fail here. That'd be freaking hilarious. Hilaga, we're gonna have to, and I'm just gonna slap on the white robe. Thank God Zest moved first to revive Sorba. Now, Flo, I need you to move now. Well, at least you're doing that, so that's fine. Okay, so it only paralysed Sorba. The thing is, though, it has a chance to basically cast slow and paralysis at the same time. That's all that stop is. So we kind of bounced back from that, surprisingly. I mean, Zest can't do anything, but Sorba's still ready to go. We need to up our power, effectively. So I am definitely going to cast Haste on Sorba right now. Because really his physical... Well, actually, he has got... Well, you know what? He can actually use the Major Staff. That would be better, because physical damage isn't working very well. Although, saying that, Zest can't do anything. And using magical items isn't helpful because of his intelligence stat. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to cast Haste on Sorba. No, on Zest. Sorba's going to cast Haste on Zest. So... when he does get up, he can actually do twice that damage, so it's a 200 becoming a 400. Right. So, well, due to the hits anyway, maybe it's a 1.5 difference, so I'm probably forgetting. I need to use another Hilaga, there is no question about it. And, you know what? You know what? I think it's time. Let's see a little black wizard here do flare. You bet. Oh, dear. Well, we've seen warp, but because we're invisible, it doesn't affect us that well. That's why I used that. Alright, so now we're very healthy. And Daewoo does have over 400 HP now, I did say that earlier. That should do tons of damage because it's light and fire damage. Look at that, 450 clean. Alright, so here's another thing that we're going to do here. We're going to use the Giant's Gloves on Zest, so he gets a bit of an attack boost as well. Then we'll come down here, we will use the Major Staff, we will use another Light Axe, and you can use another Light Axe as well. Trying to get the damage off here. Yep, that's the one. So Giant's Gloves, so Zest is ready to go. Light Axe on the Lich. 146, that's Diara, by the way, that's the second die spell. Ah! That's the Protect Ring coming in. I don't get hurt by that shit. So you can bugger right off. That was a 69. And 193 from Daewoo. Alright, let's see how much Zest will do. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. Did he even hit us that turn? It didn't look like it. Yeah, he did. Because he tried a one-shot. Didn't work. So we got a Major Staff, 2 Light Axes, and pure physical attack with boosted attack. And double the hits with Zest. That's a flare. We should live. That halved our health. That's fine. Here's the Major's Staff again. 69. 14 hits. 713. Attack boosted. 149. And 194. That's basically 200 right there. We're doing tons of damage. Right, now this time we're going to have a round of healing. Healing Staff, Healing Helm, Healing Helm. And Zess is going to pick up the pace with his massive 700 damage. Wow, you wasted your turn, good sir. And you're dead with a critical 917! Attack, accuracy, and speed boosted. Get destroyed. And he still gives us the exact same experience and the exact same money as that he did when we fought him before. He's a completely different monster in terms of stats, but there you go. And if we go down this way, where is the original? Vampire. Here's the vampire. Lich, 1. It's not the same Lich. We go down here, and there is a new Lich. That's now his HP. 2800 HP. 140 magic defense. 2000 experience, 1 gil. What did he give before? Basically, his stats basically doubled. Actually, no! He gave us more experience when he was weaker! Excuse me? So he's actually not worth fighting later on in the game, even though it's required. Well, he's required regardless, but you know what I'm saying. Maybe it's because it's like, oh, we fought him before. But yeah, that's, I'm at 45 minutes. God damn it. But yeah, that is the first Fiend, and I think I'm going to end it off here. That is what I was planning to do, but I didn't know if I was actually going to be able to do that. But I've got some stuff to cut out as well, so that's a thing as well. So in the next episode, guys, we're going to continue through the Chaos Shrine. We're on basement 2 right now, and we've got another Fiend actually right next to us. The exit's over there, as you can see. That's where another Fiend is. The Fiend of Fire. Carrie. Or Marilith. Whatever name you want to go by. So in the next episode, we're going to take on the next Fiend and continue on. See you guys then.